Hi there everyone, Jack here at the Vinyl Voyage. So that's it, my Berlin trip is over. Berlin is but a distant memory. That's me back in the old routine again. Back on my hamster wheel, getting the children ready for school in the mornings, going and looking at the odd collection, doing a little bit of work here and there, back in my record room, listening to records. It's all good. Okay, so I've noticed that over the last few weeks, a lot of people have been doing this instrumental thread, looking at some great instrumentals. I think this was started by Chris Propfe, Chris Propfe's Musically Obsessed. And I've watched a number of them. I've watched Ben Rankin's, I've watched Brian's at Embryotic Robot, I've watched MGK Boston's Garage Geeks, and I've thoroughly enjoyed them all. So I thought that I would put in my 2 cents worth. I would throw my hat in the ring with a few as well. So I do like instrumentals. I'm not like a massive instrumental albums guy. I do have some instrumental albums and I do like them from time to time. But I really like lyrics, and I probably prefer it when there's an instrumental track thrown on an album that's full of non-instrumental tracks. So I've picked out a few of these here. And what I've tried to do is I've tried to stay away from any tracks that are off of instrumental albums. I had some really good ones for that, but I've tried to just stick to instrumentals that are on non-instrumental albums. So first up, we have Half Man Half Biscuit, or I should say UK National Treasure, Half Man Half Biscuit, with their 2015 album Urge for Awful. This was their 13th studio album. It's on Probe Records. And on the front cover, we have bassist Neil Crossley riding a fairground swan or duck from a defunct merry-go-round ride, as you do. So the track that we're going to look at is called Theme for Something or Other, typically named kind of Half Man Half Biscuit track. But the weird thing about Half Man Half Biscuit doing a instrumental is that they're a band that are so noted for their brilliant lyrics. You know, songwriter Nigel Blackwell, his lyrics are brilliant. He's got like that great sardonic, satirical wit where he just pokes fun at everything. Some of them are quite surreal as well. But yeah, such a great lyricist. It's funny that they do an instrumental track. But this track itself is really cool. It's kind of like a little jaunty, finger-picked southern blues number. But if it was to if you were to think of an instrumental to sum up Half Man Half Biscuit, this would be the sound that you would imagine. You know, this album here, it references everything from Johnny Mudd, the US golfer, to Charles Darwin, to crap TV shows like Cash in the Attic, to, what else is in there? Umbongo, the fruit drink, lots of pop culture references and kind of obscure UK TV and football references. But yeah, I love Half Man Half Biscuit, and it's such a cool little track. It got me thinking when I chose this one or selected this one for my 5 instrumentals. You know, it's kind of strange where you have brilliant lyricists putting out instrumental tracks, and it made me think of another one that I've missed out, and I should have put in, but it's one of my favourites, would be Bob Dylan's Wigwam off of Self Portrait. And then I went to dig it out and realised that I don't have a copy of Self Portrait. That's maybe like my favourite instrumental of all time, so I need to rectify that. I need to go and get a copy of Dylan's Self Portrait, because I absolutely love Wigwam. But yeah, there we go, Half Man Half Biscuit, theme tune for something or other. We're sticking to Northern England then for the next one, but we're going to the East Coast for Hull Band, the Housemartins. This is their debut on Go Discs from 1986, London 0, Hull 4. And the track we're going to look at is Reverend's Revenge. It's the 5th track on side 1. I love the Housemartins, they're just so catchy. I love that kind of jangly indie pop sound that they had. And again, Paul Heaton's another great songwriter and a really cool lyricist, I think. But yeah, this is a cool little instrumental. It kind of sounds like their big hit. The big hit, obviously, off this was Happy Hour, and that opening chord progression for Reverend's Revenge sounds really similar to Happy Hour, but then instead of the vocal coming in, we have this really cool little harmonica riff. But yeah, it's a cool instrumental, and it kind of helps to break up the album. But I really like the House Martins, a great band. I think, are they underrated? I don't know. I don't know how big they were in the US. Maybe some of their tracks like Happy Hour were big, but I think probably Paul Heaton's next project, The Beautiful South, were a bigger band. But yeah, love this. It's a cool instrumental, Reverend's Revenge. So we're sailing across the Atlantic over to the west coast for Seattle's Fleet Foxes. This is their debut album from 2008, and the track is called Heard Them Stirring. It's on Sub Pop Records. But what a brilliant kind of indie folk album this is. The song itself is a beautiful kind of pastoral folk song. It's got lovely acoustic guitars, some nice, very subtle orchestration. I can hear, I think, some banjo in the background, but it's got these lovely kind of choral sounding voices. There's no words, it is an instrumental. There's no words to the song, but yeah, it's just really, really beautiful. I think this is, as a whole, this is a great album, but the instrumental fits so well within the kind of whole context of this debut. Just check out that cover. The cover's by an artist called Peter Bruegel from the 16th century. I think if I do a video on album covers, this would definitely be in it. There's so much great stuff to see in here. Check this guy here, this kind of tree man. It's quite a surreal cover. There's a lot of kind of bizarre bits in it. Where is it? See, this guy here, don't know what he's doing. And then this other guy kind of bumming a door. It's all very strange. Yeah, really, really cool. I'll just show you the vinyl on this. Yeah, I really like the Fleet Foxes. I liked this album. I liked the second one. I've not heard any of their further stuff, but this is a repress, I think, from 2017 on this nice green vinyl. But yeah, it's a great instrumental track. Heard Them Stirring. It is very stirring itself and really beautiful the way it's been put together. So sticking to the US and San Francisco this time with the Brian Jonestown Massacre with their 2016 album Third World Pyramid. And the song is called Oh Bother. It's the first song that opens up side 2. Is this the Inner Gatefold, Move On Over, or We'll Move On Over You? I've got the track listing here. See, there's side 2, Oh Bother. It's a really cool song. It kind of opens up with this little kind of ominous sounding psychedelic descending guitar riff, and then we get these Maharachi trumpets over the top, and then it just goes into a very kind of familiar Brian Jonestown Massacre sounding groove. Now, the Brian Jonestown Massacre, out of all the bands that I'll show, they're probably the band that have produced the most instrumental tracks. In fact, they have even produced a few almost fully instrumental albums. They have done one kind of fake soundtrack album, so they're no strangers to an instrumental, but this is a non-instrumental album. But yeah, that's a great tune. A kind of typical Brian Jonestown Massacre sound. I'll show you a little bit more of this album. So it's got this cool die cut album cover, and I think for me, the Brian Jonestown Massacre, Anton Newcombe had went through a kind of experimental phase where he'd released albums like what was it called? Was it 13? It was called, and the other one, My Bloody Underground, which I didn't like so much. They were more experimental, but this is kind of back to their more conventional songwriting. Aufheben before this, and then yeah, this one. But I quite like this little inner sleeve. Lots of their influences. You can see Donovan there. It's like My Bloody Valentine, Alan McGee from Creation Records. I think Brian Jones there, Marvin Gaye, Bowie. I think that's Echo and the Bunnymen, Ian McCulloch there. Winston Churchill, Bridget Bardot, Serge Gainsborough over here, Jimmy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And in typical Anton Newcombe fashion, where he gives his special thanks to drugs. He likes his drugs, Anton Newcombe. That's quite a cool inner as well. And the vinyl, I think this is on their own record label. I know that Brian Jonestown Massacre, all their kind of classic albums, they were on, was it Bomp Records? I think this is their own label now. And finally then we have The Only Ones. The album is Even Serpent Shine. This is from 1979, released on Columbia Records. And it's the last track on the album that we're going to look at. And it is called, let's see, there we go. It's called Instrumental. And it's a beauty of a track, really, really good. John Perry's guitar playing on it is absolutely fantastic. Sounds a little bit like Moonlight Mile, the Stone song off of Sticky Fingers. It's got that same kind of almost oriental sounding guitar lick, and it kind of shimmers the same way as that track does. But as the instrumental moves along, you start having these kind of maybe more Eastern influences creeping in. Well, I say Eastern, more like almost like Egyptian sounding. And right at the very, very, very end of the track, Peter Perrett, the singer, sings, "This is just an instrumental," or he kind of states it, he half sings it. So is this cheating? I don't think it's cheating. It is an instrumental track. It's called Instrumental. It's just the very, very last 5 seconds, he kind of states this is an instrumental. But yeah, I love this album. I love The Only Ones. Everything Peter Perrett's done, actually, I really, really like. So there we have it then, 5 very cool instrumental tracks. Now, I purposefully tried to stay away from classic rock stuff, but if I hadn't, a couple of honourable mentions, I would have included The Who's Sparks. Absolutely love that track. I've already mentioned Wigwam by Bob Dylan. I need to get myself a copy of Self Portrait. I absolutely love that. It's probably, maybe, definitely my favourite instrumental track of all time. And there was one other one. What was it? Yes. So we were staying away from instrumentals, from fully instrumental albums. Well, if I hadn't done that, the cover of Jumpin' Jack Flash on Ananda Shankar's sitar / rock fusion album is absolutely amazing. I love that. That's it. Until the next time. See you later. Bye for now.